Thank you, my dear friend from Texas 7, John Culberson, for hosting this special order. And that's a special word, special order, because this is a very special lady, Barbara Bush. Her husband, George H.W. Bush, and Barbara Bush were not native Texans, but they got there as fast as they could. The president embraced Texas right off the bat. He became involved in the oil and gas industry, black gold, Texas tea in those days. His wife, Barbara, became the epitome of a Texas woman, a straight shooter. What you see is what you get. Black, white, no gray. Family, 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 love, love, love. I'll share two stories about her and her husband that show how much they love life and had a great sense of humor they both had. First of all, in 2000, their oldest son, George W. Bush, was elected to become our 43rd president. Only two families in our country's history had a mother who had a husband and a son elected to the White House: the Adams family and the Bush family. Reporters came to Mrs. Bush. Remember all this controversy, hanging chads, Florida, Florida, Florida. They persevered, and George Bush was elected our president. Naturally, the reporters were excited. They approached our First Lady and said, "Mrs. Bush, in your heart of hearts, your wildest dreams, did you think one of your sons could become our president, hold the same office that your husband had for 4 years?" And Barbara, straight-talking Barbara, said, I'm paraphrasing, "Yes, sir. My boys watched their dad achieve the highest office in the world. They knew what it took. It took determination, focus, friends, faith. My sons saw that in their father. They knew what it would take. And so, yes, I thought one of my sons could become our president." Of course, then she gave the coup de grace, the classic Barbara Bush. She said, "I have to be honest with you, though, I thought it would be my smart son," meaning Jeb Bush, not George W. That comment was that of true love, and that's what Barbara Bush is all about. One other story about the president and their family: President Bush, as he got older, loved to skydive. Bush 41. He turned 90. He skydived in Kennebunkport. He had pretty bad Parkinson's. He couldn't walk. We landed, he kind of fell over and did what's called a face plant. Friends up there told me that Barbara was on our president for days before the jump, saying, "Do not do this. You are 90 years old. Don't jump out of a plane." But President Bush has said when he turned 85, he'll do it when he's 90. He kept his word. You see, Barbara came down there, hugged him, kissed him, picked him up, loved him. Back in the house, it wasn't quite the same. Apparently, she said over and over, You old man, I told you not to jump out of a plane. Look at your face. Your face is all cut up. Never, ever do this again. It won't happen. Of course, the president smiled and said, I love you. And they moved on. The next story about their love, and this is true love, came from their photographer back home in Houston, Texas. This man has been with the family for at least 40 years. The Bushes come in there every year for a big camera shoot. The photographer said, it's getting kind of tough. The president has bad Parkinson's. He can no longer stand. That means for these shots, I have to have him sit in his wheelchair. And he hates that chair. If that chair pops up in a picture, he tears the picture apart. So, how does he deal with that fact of our president's attitude with his wheelchair? He turns to the First Lady, who is 90 years old, and works her hard. They have to have the same height differential. He's about 6 feet tall. She's somewhere around 5'7", 5'8". He's above her. So in the shots with him in that chair, she has to be below him. Means she is squatting down. She's 91 years old and squatting down for a picture. And picture after picture. The photographer told me I moved her up to the left, had her squat down, to the right, back, left, over and over and over. A true workout for any human being, but especially a woman who is 90 years old. And then he started laughing. And so our president and his wife are still in love. How do you know that? At least 10 times during the course of that shoot, as our First Lady walked in front of our president, she'd stop and say, stop that, George, stop that, George. We all know what President Bush was doing with his beloved wife. He was saying, I love you, in the way that only naval aviators can say. That love resulted in marriage for 73 years. And while Barbara left us last week, that love is still going strong. Barbara Bush, President George H.W. Bush, and the entire Bush family, on behalf of the 850,000 Texans I work for in Texas 22, thank you, thank you, thank you for your example, your life, your patriotism, your love, and your family. The world is a better place because of Barbara Bush.